let's read some True Off My Chest stories. And as always, thanks for tuning into Kazu Reads Reddit. Here's our first one. My dog loves our struggle meals. Alright, let's get into it. I, 32F, work a full-time job that pays weekly. Late last month, I had a severe medical episode that resulted in me going into the ER 3 times to get help, spending money on meds and a new nebulizer for asthma that hasn't been an issue in years. I also had to take time off of work unpaid to recover. This left me trying to pinch pennies wherever I can to keep me and my dog afloat. I managed to pay the rent and the utilities by overdrafting my bank account, which left us in the negative, and even with my paychecks, I still had to spend money for our daily needs, so getting out of that was ridiculously slow. For 2 weeks in a row, my dog ran out of food midweek. I couldn't afford to buy us our separate meals, but I could spend about $10 for a dozen eggs and some chicken, so for breakfast, he's been enjoying a plain poached egg, and for dinner, some shredded plain chicken. He thinks it's because he's the best boy and I'm spoiling him with people food. He gets so excited when I pull out 2 plates. He's doing full body wiggles and a tappy dance. I am barely coming back out in the positive with this week's check, which makes me feel better. I hope that with one more struggle week, we'll be back to normal. This would be worse, I think, if he didn't look at me with pure joy every time I set down his plate. As long as he's fed and he thinks I'm good, I think it's okay. Alright, that was an amazing story, and let's go ahead and check the comments. From Peeping Tara, dogs are the most pure life forms out there, I swear. And I agree, dogs definitely take out the stress off your daily life, and at the same time, they love you unconditionally. Okay, next comment. So, we have a long one here. So, if you can find a local butcher, ask if they have any scrap offal. Organ meat, mostly. Some will give it away for free, and that will help nutritionally. Some food banks and vets also keep pet food for charity. If you are getting bone-in thighs, you can directly give him the raw bone. Raw bone doesn't splinter like cooked does, and he can benefit from the bone marrow, and bone is an excellent calcium source. Toss in a tin of sardines/tuna in water occasionally, if you can afford it. Omega-3s are important for skin or coat health. Okay, that's very good advice. And I just like to say that it's really amazing how dogs are, because sometimes they're the opposite of how people think. Dogs are easily satisfied and they're contented, even if we don't have the most expensive or luxurious things that we can afford for them, but they are the most grateful regardless of what we give them. That's why I'd like to give a shout out to all the dog owners and pet owners out there who are listening right now. If you are a dog owner or a pet owner, let us know in the comments to share or appreciate how much you love your dog. Okay? And let's move on to the next story, and we hope that the first story has lifted your spirits. From Sotwood Fan, I love my family, but I hate having house guests for days. Alright, let's read the story. Is it just me, or does anyone else hate when guests stay over for days or even weeks? I'm totally fine if someone stays one night, but after that, I start getting really annoyed. I love my alone time, and since I'm the youngest in my family, my bedroom always becomes the guest room. I end up feeling like I don't have my own space until they leave. I feel kind of guilty because I know they're family or family friends, and I want them to feel welcome and comfortable. I'm not trying to sound ungrateful in any way. I genuinely want them to feel comfortable and at home. The main problem is really just the room situation. Having to give up my room for days or even share it with someone starts to get me. Like right now, my younger cousin is staying over for a few days and she has been really loud. I know she's not really a little kid anymore, she's more of a tween, so I'm not mad at her specifically. It just makes me realize how much I value having a quiet space to myself. Low-key, I really like having my own space, and it also irritates me because having people stay over kind of throws off my routine. There's another room downstairs that guests can use, but she didn't want to sleep in the basement, which I understand. I didn't mind sharing a room because I thought it'd be nice to catch up with her, but when I was actually trying to go to sleep, she was on her phone talking really loudly. In general, if there are multiple guests and I have to give up my room or even share my bed with someone I'm not really comfortable sharing with, I get really irritated. Does anyone else feel this way? I always feel bad admitting it because I don't want people to think I dislike my family. I just really miss having my own room, my privacy, and my normal routine after a couple of days. Okay, interesting story, and I feel sorry for the OP for having this kind of inconvenience. Let's see what the users on Reddit are saying about this. From Mooney Rush, nah, I feel you, totally hate it too. When family came over, they would stay for 3 nights. It drove me crazy. My whole room would be given to one cousin and I had to sleep with my mom. Hate that too. And whenever that cousin slept in my room, he always left it stinking so bad. I had to hold my breath. Hotels exist for a reason. Besides, how can they be so rude as guests? Crying emoji. Alright, so the OP is, I definitely feel sorry for the OP because of this experience. I think it would have been better for the entire experience if the guests weren't loud or more considerate since they're just occupying the space of someone else's family. But in this case, the cousin or the cousins, they seem to have little sensitivity regarding the matter because during times when you're supposed to be resting and sleeping already, they fail to consider your own needs and they still talk loudly over the phone and make noises which, anyone would be uncomfortable to hear them. If it was the other way around, I'm sure they would also feel the same way. So I feel bad for this. And I do hope, or maybe I would advise that maybe you can talk to your parents and make some arrangements so they can, speak and communicate what you're thinking or how you're feeling when those guests are there, so that your parents can talk to their parents and their parents can remind their kids to, be more considerate since they're just staying with you for a while, okay? All right, so this is a new post, so we don't have many comments on here right now, which is why we're moving on to the next story. And if you can relate to the story, don't forget to drop your comments right below and let's talk about this, okay? From Improper Kangaroo, 37M, married with kids, okay job, a few friends. I genuinely don't know how to receive help or kindness from others without panicking. Okay, so looks like this guy is too independent for his own good. Let's read the story. I'm a 37-year-old male, married with 2 kids. I'm moderately successful with an okay job. And I have about 4 friends, including one really good friend. My parents have both passed away, and outside of my wife, I genuinely don't know what to do when someone does something nice for me. I have a complete inability to ask for anyone for help. A couple of recent examples. I was at a DIY store trying to load something into my car that wouldn't fit. An old friend of my dad's saw me struggling and offered to drop it off at my house in his van. I thanked him, of course, but I was on the edge of a panic attack, driving home in front of him the whole time because I felt like such a huge inconvenience. The other day, I had something delivered that was way too heavy to lift on my own. I was practically in tears, wrestling it down the steps to my house inch by inch by myself, simply because asking for help didn't even feel like an option. I don't know how to fix this and I don't know how to ask for help. Has anyone else dealt with this? How do I get past it? Alright, so let's see what the other users on Reddit are saying. From TJ Lens 1, and this is a long one, I sympathize and completely understand what it is like. My SO gets frustrated with me because I don't ask for help, or when it's offered, I say, I got this, or nah, I'm good. I do the same at work. I manage 10 people and they also get frustrated with me. I will help just about anyone, yet I just can't receive it. The not feeling worthy part that was mentioned is true, but there is also the I'd rather / can do it myself and the guilty feeling of asking or feeling like I am a burden. It may make others feel good for being able to help, and denying that for them is a form of being selfish. But the internalized borderline anxiety it causes is enough to justify that denial. Okay, I actually had this kind of thing or issue before. For me, it's different. It's not really anxiety or panic attack. For me, it's more about ego and pride that more like a feeling of I don't need anyone's help because I can do this. I trust myself. I don't really trust other people. So it's more of a negative thing compared to what these people are experiencing. I was able to overcome that because there have been a lot of experiences in my life that humbled me and showed me that I really need the help of other people. But let's see other comments. There are still other comments here that Reddit users are saying. From Floofy Pajamas, yes, you get therapy. You have to learn to ask for help. Unfortunately, some of us were raised to be radically independent and it isn't healthy for us. Find a good therapist to work with. It will change your outlook. All right, that's very good. As I've mentioned before, some people have this sort of thing or condition or issue because it's more of a cognitive or more of a not really a negative behavioral thing. It's really more of how they were raised, or it's more like a symptom for something that may be deeper that can be addressed through therapy. In my case, it's different because it's more of a negative behavioral thing. So that's very good advice from our Reddit user, and we hope the OP does get help regarding this because it's hard to be on your own for the rest of your life. We always need other people. Okay, no matter how much we don't want to admit it, we need other people. Okay, right. Let's go to our next story. Do you believe people can truly reinvent themselves after prison? Positive. Okay, I like the story, and let's see what the story is about. I recently read about a man who spent 14 years incarcerated. Today, he spends his evenings operating a mobile laundromat for people experiencing homelessness. It made me wonder how often we permanently define people by the worst thing they've ever done. Do you believe someone can genuinely become a different person after serving their time? What would make you believe it? All right, this is excellent. I want to read, or I want to see what other users are saying. Here's from a Reddit user. In my opinion, prison doesn't change people for the better. It's not an environment that's conducive to rehabilitation. However, I do believe that often the shock of arrest and conviction can change someone. Those people go into prison with a commitment to themselves to use the time as well as they can. Those that are successful in that can and do reinvent themselves if they're given the chance to do so as an ex-con. But it's despite the prison experience, not because of it. Yeah, good point. But still, I still believe that people who go to prison, they are still changed because of the prison experience and because of their encounters with certain types of people inside. Like, for example, if their warden or corrections officer are good or nice to them. I've read or I've watched videos online of real people who they love their corrections officer, that even when the corrections officer was choking or was dying of a heart attack, the inmates actually rushed to help the person and they were actually featured on TV. And that's amazing. That's something that, you know, not even people in real life, some people in real life won't even do for another stranger, right? And he makes a good point on this comment, but I still believe that people, depending on who they encounter inside the prison bars or prison cells, they can change. And, this world has, affected us negatively, but I believe that originally, or, there is really good in us that's just waiting to be discovered. And our encounters with other fellow human beings and how we react to them really shape who we become. Okay, so let's go to the next comment. From Cat278, I think they can, but it all depends on if they actually want to. I agree. I used to work as a CEO or corrections officer in a jail, and I've seen repeat offenders I thought might have a chance outside of jail, and I've seen genuine change. All right. And yeah, you never fail to hope because it does happen in reality, right? So I think it follows that it's not really good to people based on their past because we all have a negative past unless you grew up in a really or in an extremely welcoming and gregarious environment. Then good for you. But for most of the people that I know or will live with, we have a negative past and we don't want judging others, just like we don't want being judged ourselves, regardless of what their background is, whether they're from prison or any other background. And sometimes even people who wear fancy clothes, neckties, sometimes they're even worse in terms of their behavior and how they engage and interact with the common people, right? So let's move on to the next story. I gambled $100 and came out with nothing. All right, so we have a gambling story here from TrueOffMyChest. Let's see what this is about. I thought I'd try gambling just to see what it's about. So I pulled out $100 and that was my limit. So I just sat down at this weird Animal Farm gambling machine and decided to play. As I kept playing, my money just kept going down and I was bidding like $1 at a time. I won some money sometimes, but it was only a little bit. And so I just kept going. Eventually, that same process just kept happening and it was nearing $0 in my pockets. And I remember thinking to myself, man, I might just have the worst luck or this game is just rigged. I don't see why people get addicted to this. Eventually, I lost it. And then that's when I left thinking, damn bro, I just wasted $100. I'm never doing that again in my life. And so that's why I'm never gambling again in my life. All right. So yeah, even for me, gambling's not for me. I've experienced it. And, they always say the house always wins, right? Let's see what other users are saying on Reddit. From Beagle Otis, as a casino worker, be grateful that you learned a life lesson for only $100. The longer you stay, the better our odds. Okay, and this is coming from someone who works in a casino. So this guy knows it, right? And let's see other comments here. From Warm Emphasis 960, they don't blow up perfectly good hotels and build new ones because they are losing money. And exactly correct. You see casinos build hotels all the time. The odds always favor the house. Yes, much agreed. Okay, next comment. Good for you learning early that it's not very profitable to gamble. Yep. And I don't think schools or anyone else will tell you that that gambling is actually profitable. I was unlucky enough to hit a superfecta at the dog track on my 18th birthday and have been addicted for 30 years. I've gotten much better about limiting my losses, but I'll never get anything close to being even. And guys, whoever is listening right now, let this be a warning. As this guy says, he never got anything close to to getting even. Right? So if you have money right now and, you're thinking of how to spend it for fun or entertainment, I think it's much better if you just go to the cinemas or buy a movie. But again, it's your money. If you really want to experience gambling, if you're really into it, then go for it by all means. But remember, the odds are always against your favor. And now that we're talking about this topic, I'm actually curious how many of our listeners or viewers on this channel actually have this habit or addiction. So if you're one of those guys who can't stop gambling and this is one of your vices, maybe you don't have to leave a comment, but maybe you can share what you have learned when you tried to gamble. And what have you learned regarding your spending limits? What have you learned regarding if you were able to finally break away from this vice or from this habit? I'm sure other listeners might learn or could learn from you so that they can also help themselves regarding this, right? Yeah. So that's it for our stories. And again, thanks so much for tuning in. You know what to do if you love the videos, and see you on the next episode.